Hello and welcome to Finance Conversation. This is the 59th episode of the Merging Life and Money Show, and I am delighted to be here. For those of you who do not know me, I am your host, Marie-Jo César. I help professional women bridge the gap between life and money by teaching them the relevant skills and knowledge they need to take control of their money, manage their finances, and understand that they can live their best life with the money they have. Thank you for joining in today. If you are watching the replay, make sure to type #replay in the chat and leave me some comments and questions. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. I come to you live every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to share valuable information about how to achieve financial wellness and live your life with means and meaning. Today, my guest, my special guest, I would say, a special contributor to the show, Eric Dudley, will be focusing on some of the most common mistakes that people make with their 401k plan. And it will talk also about how to avoid them. So thank you for being here today, Eric. So Eric, for those of you who do not know Eric, because you should know him by now because he's a regular contributor, Eric is an independent, experienced holistic financial advisor whose specialties are retirement planning, hence today's topic, investing solutions, and life insurance. Eric is also the founder and president of Dudley Financial Group. And I must also note that one of his company's main objectives is to help their clients build their best tomorrow while protecting them today. So welcome, Eric, to the Merging Life and Money Show, and welcome, followers and listeners. Thank you for joining in today. So grab a pen and a notebook as you might want to take some notes to discuss them further with family members, friends, colleagues, whomever you want to, because it is about sharing values that could benefit others. So if you have any comments or question whatsoever, make sure to put them in the chat. As you may know, the main objective of the Merging Life and Money Show and my very strong why is to empower as many women as I can with what I know about money and finance. Okay, so today, again, we will be addressing the 401k plan, which is a vehicle provided by employer for employees to prepare for their retirement. So the 401k plan is a great tool to help you save for retirement. However, it is important that you make sure that you are doing it right and that you are not making any mistakes, because mistakes can stop you from reaching your retirement goals and can lead to a lot of stress and anxiety. So before we get started, I like to state a few disclaimers, right? So everything said in the Merging Life and Money Show is for general, informational, and educational purposes only. And it is not intended to constitute legal, tax, accounting, or investment advice, and should not be relied upon for tax, legal, investment, or accounting advice. Okay, so you should please consult with your own tax, your own legal, your own investment and accounting advisors before engaging in any transactions. Okay, so before I turn to Eric, I just want to say that there are so many employees, that are not aware that they are making huge mistakes with their 401k plans. mistakes that are costing them thousands and thousands of dollars in retirement savings. So this could be because, who knows, right? They are not aware of the options available to them, or because of, what they understood their employee to explain to them, the advice that they are getting from the employer. I mean, who knows, right? Who knows? So Eric, help me and my audience understand the common mistakes most employees make with their 401k plan. And as I know that there are many, and we discussed that before the show, and we agreed on looking at 6 of them, right? So I'm going to spell them out, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk about them one at a time. So we basically decided to look at the fact that employees are not taking the full company match, and Eric could explain what match means, because not everybody even understand that option is available to them, and they could do it. We'll be talking also about cashing out before retirement, because some people do that, and to their detriment. Not increasing contribution over time. Why? You get a raise. You would want to increase that contribution, and even without a raise, because the more money you put in, the earlier the better. Not checking your investment performance. So it's not a thing like, add water and shake. Okay, you got to keep on stirring it. Another one is loading up on your company stock. And the last one that we're going to look at is not understanding the downsides of 401k plans, because there is always 2 sides to anything, right? So Eric, let's start with the first one. The first common mistake, which is not taking the full company match. What can you tell us about that?
Okay, well, hey, thanks for having me, MJ. Well, first of all, I want to go ahead and say, 401ks are the most common retirement vehicle that employees, the middle America, uses for retirement. So it's important for people to understand that the right things to do and the wrong things not to do. Okay. It's really important because, we don't have the same retirement vehicles that they did 50 years ago. Very few people get pensions these days. It takes a lot of money to retire. People want to retire when they're in their early 60s, mid 60s. Well, people are living a lot longer than they used to. So retirement has to last you 20, 25, 30 years. And there's a good chance that if you looked at any couple that you see that's already in their 60s, there's a good chance that at least one of them will live to be 90. And so you're looking at 25 years of retirement you have to have. You don't want to have to go back to work. So it's a good plan to go ahead and do the right things and make sure you have a really a good disciplined plan in place, and as much saved as possible, and as many smart things done as possible as far as taxes and things like that. Now the first problem here was not taking the full match. Well, it only makes sense to take the full match. If the company is offering a match, that means that they're going to give you a percentage of your income for free. So if they say that they're going to give you a 5% match, that means if you made $50,000 a year, then they're going to give you $2,500 to match your $2,500 to put in that 401k. Now, who would turn down free money?
Free money, it's exactly.
Just crazy to turn down free money. Never do that, okay? So take the free money and be happy you got it. And some people don't, though. Some people will say, well, I'll only take a 2% of the 5% match. Don't do that. Take the full match if you can, if any way possible, if you can. So it'll be definitely worth it down the road.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
And,
so,
good. And the other part of this is also, do people understand what vesting is? Vesting is something that's done in
very
companies.
important.
Yeah. you don't get that full match unless you are with the company for a certain amount of years. Now, this is not true for all companies, but definitely understand that some companies, and maybe the company that you're involved in, has a vesting system. And so you have to be with them for X number of years in order to be fully vested and be able to get all of the matching funds. Because, a lot of people these days, they change jobs so fast, they wind up not being fully vested.
Yeah, they're leaving some money on the table there.
That's right. That's right. You're leaving money on the table. So understand when to change jobs according to if you're vested. You want to make sure you get all the money you can from the company.
Good. That's very important to understand. And my experience, I come from a background where we had a similar system where the defined contribution structure, and it was 5%, 5%. And this was not optional. So every employee had to put 5%. And this was matched by the employer. Mm-hmm. So the good thing with that is that you were able to put as much voluntary contribution as you wanted to. However, it wasn't matched by the employer because it was voluntary. But it's a very, very important point that you say here in America, where it's very voluntary. So a lot of people don't take it seriously. And they don't realize how important it is to put in that money and get 100% return on it on day one. Mm-hmm. You put $1 and you get $1 back, $1 to add to it. So to me, that's 100% return on day one before investment. All right. So the next common mistake that you identified, Eric, is cashing out before retirement. What can you tell us about that?
Well, just like any other plan you have, if you have a plan to, get a certain level of education, or if you plan on become a professional athlete or a doctor or anything like that, you have to stick with the plan. Okay. You have to stick with it all the way through, because if you don't, it's going to drag on and on and on, and you're not going to wind up reaching your goals a lot of times. And so retirement is a long-term deal. And you have to really, the most important money that you save in retirement is money that you are investing early. Okay. When you're 18, when you're 19, that's the best money. That's money that's going to be in there for 40 plus years of compounding. It's wonderful. That's the most effective money. But what happens is a lot of times people, have, unfortunately, they lose their discipline, and they see something they like, something shiny, something fun, something they think they deserve. And they go out and they take some money out of their 401k and they go buy a car, or they, maybe they paint their house, or maybe they, whatever. It might even be something that's important. But the last place you want to take money out is from your retirement, because that money compounds and compounds and compounds. And that's where the real power of investing comes from, is that compounding interest. And if you take the money out, it will really, really injure that account, and you'll never recover it. Money that's invested when you're in your 20s becomes huge in your 60s. So if you take it out in your 30s to go buy yourself a BMW, you're going to pay a lot more for that BMW than you could have ever imagined. Yeah. Another one is, what should you do with your money? Let's just say, for instance, you've been vested in your job and you decide to move to another company. Don't pull the money out. Okay. Again, this is a retirement vehicle. So just because you left the company, you don't take it out and put it in a savings account. No, you roll it into something else that's also a retirement account, which is an IRA. Mm-hmm. And if you do that, you can do it to where you're not going to have any taxable income. You won't use any of the money. It'll never actually be touched by you. It'll be transferred from one institution to another, all tax-free, and it'll all be still in a retirement account, so that you can continue to take the benefits of it, of compounding interest and things like that. So you just try not to use it. Use it for what it is. It's retirement money.
Right. And that's a very, very important point that you make here, because you start a job and you're there like for 5 years, 6 years, maybe fully vested, and then you move on. So you would want to, that's your money. So you would want to control that little party here. Right. And move it. And the first thing that you look at, okay, am I going, because some people think, okay, I'm going to get another $1,000 or $2,000 a year, but that particular employer does not offer a 401k plan. So would you move to that? So you have kind of, first of all, you have to weigh it, and assuming that they do have a 401k plan, okay, you would want to roll it over, either, and make sure that money continued to remain in a plan that you could control as far as the investment is concerned. So that's very key. Thanks for that, Eric. So the next one that we will be looking at is the fact that people are not increasing their contribution over time. Right.
Well, I mean, people's salary will probably not stay the same as they get older and more experienced. They have more skills and they're able to make more money. So again, taking the same example I used before, if you have a person who makes $50,000 a year and they get 5% matching, so that means they're putting in $2,500 a year. Their employer puts in $2,500, so a total of $5,000 a year. Great. But 5 or 10 years later, maybe they've doubled their salary. Now they're making $100,000 a year. Mm-hmm. Well, you still don't want to keep only $5,000 between you and your company's match as what you're contributing into the 401k. I mean, what you should be putting on the 401k sign-up sheet is a percentage. So it always changes. It changes as your salary goes up each step. Right. If it's you want to put in 5%, and now you're making $60,000, you'll have 5% of that. And if you want 5% of 80,000, it'll be 5% of that. And so you're always increasing the amounts. But another part of that is you don't want to just say, well, I'm going to hit the match, because as you get more and more money coming to you, there's less and less needs. You can contribute more to your retirement then. Now, I'm not saying that you should contribute more into your 401k. That's up to you. I mean, maybe your 401k is doing really well, but there's also a good chance you could invest in something else. Okay, yeah. You can invest in a Roth IRA, for instance, which would be tax-free income, that tax-free bucket that we talked about last week, so that whenever you retire, that would be money that wouldn't be taxed. You might want to want to invest into real estate. It might be something to look into. Lots of things to invest in. Make smart decisions, but also just consider that as you get more and more wealthy, if you want to maintain that standard of living in retirement, then you're going to have to increase the amount that you invest.
Totally well said. Yeah. And loading up on your company's stock. What can you tell us about this?
Oh, well, I can tell you this from personal unfortunate incidents. Everybody loves their company. You get into a company that you're fired up about. There's a esprit de corps.
Do I hear Enron there somewhere?
Yeah, exactly. You believe in them. It's like you might know the CEO. You might know the people who are in charge, and they got charisma, and they really got their act together, and they know what they're doing. And you're saying, man, and look at what the stocks have done over the last 5 years. They're making 35%, 40% returns, and it can't miss. It can miss. And you don't want to have too many eggs in one basket. That's really the bottom line there. I don't care, even if it's not a company that you're invested in, or working for. I think for instance, Tesla, I think is a great company, fantastic company, but I would never recommend putting all your money into Tesla. Okay. I think that would be something that could be dangerous. I mean, what would happen if Elon Musk, decided, nah, I'm not with Tesla anymore, I'm with Ford. Ford stock would go crazy. And so you want to make sure that not all your eggs are in one basket. You want to, even if you believe in that company, you can never tell. Pandemics can happen. For instance, my wife was in the hospitality business with Hilton hotels, and their stock was doing terrific until the pandemic happened. Okay, so a lot of people who were waiting for that stock to vest, they wound up taking a big hit from that. So anyway, like I said, you don't want to have too many eggs in one basket. You want to spread it out.
Right. So would you recommend an ideal percent?
I would say no more than 20% of your entire portfolio should be in one stock, so that you've got 80% that is really diversified, so that you can say, oh, well, if something bad happens to that 20%, my other 80% could really hold me up.
Yeah, investment allocation is key.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what makes the money for you. Another one that I would like for you to talk about as well is not checking your investment performance.
Oh yeah. Well, if a person were continuously accepting underperforming funds, it could result in tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars less for them in retirement. You really should have an expectation of, hey, I need to be in the right funds that are doing really well, and all you have to do is just check them every once in a while. Just once a year or so, you look through what the average funds are making according to the type of funds you're looking at. Now, you want to make sure that you're comparing apples to apples. You don't want to compare a stock fund or a tech fund, for instance, to a bond portfolio. Bond portfolios just don't move as fast as tech funds would. So yeah, it wouldn't be accurate, but you can look at the other tech funds, lots of tech funds out there. Which ones are doing better? Which ones do better in a 3-year, 5-year, a 10-year period? Maybe you don't want to just look at the ones that did better last year. Just look at the ones that are consistently doing better. And that way you'll have an idea of, is mine doing really well, or should I make a change? At least look at that once a year, so that you can find out if you're really getting the most bang for your buck.
Yeah. So basically the advice there is just don't pick a percentage and pick an investment allocation when you first start and forget it. You can't do that. Okay. Right. So it's a couple of things.
If you're asleep at the wheel, you are going to drive off a cliff.
Yep. So that's key. So and for the past decade, I mean, or maybe before, since 2008, I mean, I do believe personally that any investment book need to be rewritten. The basics have gone through the window, and a new investment vehicle have been introduced to the traditional investment option that people used to have. And so it is very, very important that pension is definitely investment. Get to know exactly how your portfolio is doing. Okay. There are books, there is the internet. You could track the performance of your portfolio. If you feel that you don't understand, there is always help. There are investment advisors, plenty of them everywhere. So make sure that you follow that. I mean, this is your paycheck when you no longer get a paycheck.
Right.
So you have to make sure that this is taken care of. Another one that I would like you to talk about, which probably be the last one, is not understanding the downsides of the downsides of 401k plans.
Yeah, that's right. 401k plans can be effective. Not to say it's without its warts, though. 401ks can be really expensive in their fees. A lot of people just do not realize it because, I mean, they're not advertising, look at this fee and look at that fee. I mean, they're kind of keeping them underneath the books and sweeping it under the carpet if they can. They do not want to show how expensive they can be, but they can be very expensive, especially in small companies. Small companies pay higher fees in their 401ks than larger ones generally, and so you want to make sure that you're not getting killed with those fees. If you are, then you can roll those into roll your money into IRAs. As you're going, whenever you transfer jobs and stuff like this, you want to make sure you don't leave it in that expensive 401k. You want to make sure that you go ahead and move it to an IRA that you can control the fees because you can control the investments and types, and that controls the fees. And then also, of course, IRAs have better investment options than 401ks. 401ks might only give you 25 or 30, investment options total, whereas an IRA could have hundreds of investment options, different types of investments completely. And then, of course, with the 401k, most people go into it they might ask their buddy who's at the company, what is he doing or what is she doing in their investment. They may not know.
Big mistake. I tell people that all the time. Okay, I could be 40, you could be 40. I wish. And I could have a kid going to kindergarten. You could have a kid going to university, right? So this affects the way that you plan for the future.
Right.
So you have to be very, very aware of that. And don't look at your coworker's application form and select whatever they selected, even they are the same age as you are. So educate yourself of the various options that are available to you. Yeah. And
that is a great example that you made, because the person who is next to you, even if they're the same age, may have completely different circumstances in their lives. I mean, who knows? Maybe that guy's going to inherit $50 million because he married into the right family. Who knows? I mean, it may not affect him at all. He doesn't care.
Yeah, this could be his play money.
Right, exactly. I'm planning on giving this to my college. Something like that. No, I mean, you want to make sure that you're doing what you can to understand how to invest it for your own circumstance. And that, in my opinion, you should probably get a financial advisor, an investment pro, to give you some advice. And or at least read up on it, because everybody's situation is different, and you want to make sure you're doing the best for yourself.
Oh, absolutely. This is very, very important. And as I said always, I will continue to say that this is your paycheck when you no longer work. So you have to make sure that you got enough money in that pot that is going to last you years and years to come. And another thing that I used to tell people is that just because you're getting older doesn't mean that you should step out of equities and put everything into fixed income. Life goes on, life continues on. So you want to make sure that you may want to de-risk some, but you want to make sure that you're still there, earning those interests and the return that you deserve on your hard-earned money.
And if you don't do that, you won't keep up with inflation anyway.
Yeah, and another thing that I would like to mention to 401k members, please become very intimate with the plan rules, the rules of your 401k plan. Get to understand them, get to understand the vesting. Make sure, because you're entitled to have access to investment performance. Make it your business to take a look at it, and you may want to change your investment options over time. Make sure that you do that as well. That is very, very important. So, Eric, this is of such a very vitally important topic. And I really thank you for enlightening us on those common mistakes that employees tend to do with their 401k plan. Okay, so I'm just going to sum it up because it's already 30 minutes that we've been talking, believe it or not. We talked about 6 of the common mistakes that people tend to do with their 401k plan. We mentioned not taking the full company match. Remember, your employer, some employers do match your contribution, so take advantage of that. Cashing out before retirement. This is not your play money. This is your paycheck when you no longer work. So you want to make sure that you're putting enough aside there. So do not touch it. Not increasing your contribution over time, as Eric mentioned. You may be with a company for a long time. You started at a salary, and within a short time, you could be making double. So do not, go for the percentage rather than a flat amount, because with the percentage, it goes with your paycheck. So make sure, and plus, you are making more money and you are getting older, and you have less of a need for money at a time. So you may want to put that money toward a Roth IRA or increase your contribution altogether. Make sure that you maximize that 401k plan. Not checking your investment performance, very important, right? It's like putting the turkey in the oven and never checking it out. It's going to burn. So so you got to keep an eye on it, right? And baste it when you need to. And loading up on your company stock, which is not always a good solution. Okay, so as I see it, the 401k plan is a great way to save for retirement, no question about it. But it's important to make sure that you are taking advantage of all the benefits it has to offer. So avoid these common mistakes that we talked about, and book a complimentary consult with Eric today. He is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to retirement planning. And he will help you make the most of your 401k plan so you can relax and enjoy your golden years worry-free. So this brings us to the end of today's Merging Life and Money episode. So Eric, I advance that you will be able to assist people. So I am going to put a banner at the bottom of the screen that shows your information. And audience, make sure to pay attention to that. It's going to run until the end of the show. And reach out to Eric, and he will assist you and with your 401k plan as you need it. So I hope that you have enjoyed today's show. And as you know, I like to end the show with a quote. And today is a quote from Harry Emerson, and it reads, Don't simply retire from something. Have something to retire from. To retire to. So thank you, Eric, again for your awesome contribution to the show today. And we will meet again next week to kind of close that retirement, pension / retirement series that we started last week. And next week, we will be talking about annuities. So come with questions. And so this is going to be next week. So Eric, thanks again. And for more information about how to achieve financial wellness from the inside out and live a purposeful life with the money you have, join me next week, Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Mountain time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 9 p.m. Atlantic time for my Bermudian peeps, and 9 p.m. I believe Brisbane, Australia time 9 p.m. Atlantic time and 10 a.m. Friday, Brisbane, Atlantic time for my Australian friends. Sorry about that. Thank you for being here today on the Merging Life and Money Show. I am your host, Marie-Jo César. I will be back again next week. Until then, continue merging life and money. Bye for now.